We're going to come out here on the main floor again. So in this room, always remember you got two entrances. You got this side and you had the one where we came in from the women's gym. The women's gym, we don't want guys going through that way and entering that way. We don't want them exiting that way either, but we do allow women to go through either door. But just kind of remember that, because we do have guys sometimes that want to exit that door, and so we want to be watching for that. Now again, when we're touring somebody, you got to remember that 8 out of 10 people who come in this door, they either haven't worked out in 10 years or longer, or they've never worked out before at all. So when they come in here, one of two things happen. Sometime when we're doing a tour, we leave the front desk, we go towards the women's side, but if there's a class going on in that room that we just came out of, we're not able to walk through it. And so sometimes we come from the other direction into this, into the main circuit. Sometimes we come out the door we just did. Either way, I want you to kind of visualize this look right here. Meaning when they come out here and they see all this stuff, think about yourself for a minute. If you're a person who doesn't exercise and you see this, if you really look at it in the fact of what I'm fixing to say, you'll understand what I'm saying. All this stuff is gray. Now the pads are a different color, but all this equipment's gray. It's basically about 4 foot tall, 4 foot wide. So it looks like just a big jungle of fitness equipment. So the person walking out here is thinking, how in the world am I going to know how to do this stuff? So what I do when I tour some people, I explain it like this. So when we come out here, if you'll look across the floor, you'll see this circuit has black pads. The one over here has blue pads. The one in the middle has red. If you can kind of see into that room, that's yellow equipment. So it's all color coded. Now what that basically means is kind of like the women's gym that we were just in. It's color coded so it makes it where you can see the difference in the circuits. Now when you see a name, I want you to visualize that circuit right here called Magnum. Let's just pretend like it's a car. So let's say you drive a Chevrolet. We'll say Magnum is Chevrolet. We're going to look at this blue circuit. It's called the Cybex Eagle. We're going to actually say that's Ford. In the middle, it's called the Hoist Rocket. We're going to say it's actually Toyota. The yellow is Hammer. We're going to say it's Jeep. Now the reason why I'm saying that is this. People ask me all the time, because most clubs have one circuit. So you got one machine for every body part. They may have two. But in this club, we have 5 or 6 machines for every body part. So when you first come in, the first question when they see that, say, which circuit's best? Well, it's not that one is better than the other. It's just the fact that it drives different. So if you're a person who likes to drive Chevrolet, it's because you don't like the way Ford feels. And so you're going to find a circuit you may like a lot. But basically what I find out with a lot of members is they are all over the place. They may love this pec deck in this circuit, and they may love that chest press in the other circuit or whatever. So our whole goal is to eventually get the member to learn all of it. But I want you to always remember, when a person asks you which circuit's best, it's not that they're better or worse, it's just the fact of the effort you put into it. Now I also want to let you know this. Another reason why we put all this equipment in here, a lot of it's designed for different size people. And so let's say you have a person who's 5'8" and taller, they're probably going to like this Hammer circuit a little bit better than they would on the Cybex. And so the Cybex is normally designed for about 5'2" up to 6 foot tall. And so for instance, a woman who's 5'2", she's not going to like the ab machine in this circuit. But that's okay, because it's not the only ab machine we have. Now if it was the only ab machine we had, with people coming here normally wanting to just do abs, they're not going to like that machine, they're not going to come back. But we're going to have multiple ab machines. So our goal is to find the one that fits them the most. So I want to walk over here, and I want you to understand that every one of these adjusts differently. So as a staff member, your goal is going to be going to either one of the videos that we have that shows the circuit, but it's going to be coming to us and making sure you know how to adjust and use these machines yourself, because even by looking at them and watching the videos, you want to get in here and you want to actually feel out these machines on how they feel yourself. Now I do want to show you this. Just like the one you saw on the women's side, they're all going to have pictures showing you how to start and stop, but you got to remember too, we have a video literally on every circuit showing you exactly the form we want you to use. Now I want to show you this yellow circuit here, because you need to understand what it is. It's called hammer strength. Now when you walk in this room here, the key is you notice the free weights, meaning this is free weight driven. If you're on one of these circuits out here, it's just a pin that you change, so it's easy to change. And here's a little bit more difficult because you have to lift the weights to load onto the machine. But the neat thing about this stuff, it's unilateral movement. And what that basically means is out there on these machines here, typically if I'm pushing with one arm, the other arm goes up automatically anyway. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, if I were doing this particular machine here, it's just called a hammer shoulder press. When I'm doing it, when I'm pushing up, it looks like it's balancing itself, but it's not. I'm doing it. So basically, most of these machines in the circuit are unilateral movement, meaning you're having to balance both sides. So it's really an awesome transition when you're going from machines and you're going to want to do free weights later on and maybe do some of this hammer strength. And even if you don't do free weights at all. A lot of the seniors even like doing this stuff. You may be stronger on one side than the other, and you want to build that side up, or you may be doing rehab, so it's an awesome circuit to use. So a lot of times when we're fixing to do a tour, we do a tour sheet. And when we do the tour sheet, it's important we look at the goal of that person. Meaning the room I'm fixing to walk you in a minute is not a room I'm going to walk most women into because they're not interested in free weights. So typically if I'm doing a tour and I've got a woman who's maybe 45, 50 years old and her goal is to lose some weight and just tone in shape, when I get them to this part, instead of walking into that free weight area, I'm going to make a beeline and walk back this way, and I'm going to show you why. If I walk back this way, I'm going to walk them kind of through this circuit here, but I'm going to walk them right beside the cardio deck. Now there's a reason why I'm doing this. So when we're touring people, what we don't want to do is get somebody up in front of that cardio deck where they're facing the person on the treadmill and they're facing each other. It makes them both uncomfortable. So when I'm showing this, or if you're showing it, you want to stand on the side here. Now what I want you to understand too is we have sometimes where someone may be checking out different clubs and they may call us and say, hey, I've called one of your competitors, one of these express clubs, and they have 100 pieces of cardio. How many do y'all have? Well, we don't have 100 pieces. And I'll be honest with you, we have about 80 pieces, but we don't need 100 pieces. Here's why. One of the things when we designed this club, we designed it in 1995, so we've been here a long time. When we designed it, we had designed a third of this club to be cardio, either through cardio equipment or group classes. We designed a third of it to be selectorized equipment like you see out here on the floor. We call it the health club side. And then the other third is going to be free weights and core. So what we did design though, what we thought out is this. People tend to, when they join a fitness center, they get bored. And so if you have, say, 100 pieces of equipment, but it's all the same treadmill, same elliptical, same bike, what's going to happen? They're going to get bored on it or plateau on it. In here, what you're going to have a wide selection of different treads, bikes, ellipticals, roll machines, you name it. But what we did, like these machines out here where you have 4 or 5 machines for every body part, what you're going to have in here is you're going to have all these different varieties of different, like treadmills for instance. You've got 4 different brands. They're all totally different. They walk different. Same thing with ellipticals. You got 4 different brands. You got 4 different brands of bikes. You have rollers. You have step mills. You have just a lot of different things that we can change your workout on so we don't get you bored and you don't plateau on your workout. So again, the cardio section is going to be something we expect you to get on and learn each piece. So if a member comes up and asks you, hey, how does this work? You'll know how to use it. So now I want to walk you into the free weight area. Now remember, there's a transition. When he shows you this camera right here, you see where the carpet stops and the rubber starts. So the name of our gym is Legends Gym and Health Club. We didn't do that by era. We did it for a reason. We are a health club, but we are also a gym. We set this side up very plush for people. I call it get in, get out, get on your live fitness, meaning an average person can come in here and do a full circuit, full body workout in 30 minutes. If they want to do cardio with it, they're out of here in an hour. But then you also have people, honestly, that have some bigger goals and they want to come into the free weight area. And so back here, when I show you this area, you're going to see a lot more serious lifters probably back here a lot of the times. But by separating out, it's always worked for us because it kind of hits both worlds. You may have a lady who joins and wants to do this where her husband wants to do free weight, so he can come back in here. So when you come back here, you're going to have the same thing that you saw back there as far as duplication of equipment where there's 4 or 5 pieces. You're going to have everything in here at least double. You're also going to have a lot of specialty pieces. Now I'm not going to walk around the gym and showing you all these today, but when you start working here, you're going to find out there are a lot of different machines for like glutes, assisted pull-ups, dips, things that you may not even notice when you walk through because there's so much stuff. But the thing I want you to realize too is when you come in here, you're not going to worry about waiting in line here. There's over 30,000 pounds of plate weight. So if you got 10 guys going heavy in the squat racks and benches, there's still plenty of weights for anybody else. You also have all kinds of cables. This is what's important. If someone calls and say, what makes y'all different than other clubs? I don't want you to say it's because we have better equipment and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with it. Now it does, but people expect that. Hopefully it's always going to be because our personality and stuff, but it is nice to know that we do have a nice facility with a lot of equipment because when people come here, the reason why we do the week free pass is once you get on this stuff and you work out and see all the options, a lot of times it seals the deal because where they went somewhere else, they may have had one machine. So you always want to know what your competitors are doing. So when you work here, we're going to expect you to kind of have an idea of what makes us different. So let's walk back through here and let me kind of show you some ideas. Now, so you have a lot of different pieces back here. And so the average person coming in, maybe they've worked out here for a while in this area and they're going to come up and ask you, hey, what do I do free weight wise? This is why it's going to be important that even if you don't know yourself, it's where to greet and lever that to the right person. And that's where you're going to be learning that greet and lever. Like if someone comes in with training questions, you're going to know to greet them and lever them to the trainer. If it's memberships, greet them to the consultant. If it's management, and that's what you'll be learning your first 30 days. Now we're going to go over next door to the training zone now. I'm going to show you that area as well. Okay, I want to show you this area here. And the reason why I'm showing you this is I go back a long ways in this industry here, and some things we've done through the years, like you can go to our YouTube channel and see that we have videos of our first 25 plus years here. And when we started in this facility, basically we didn't have anything in here. We've kind of grown through the years, but there's also pieces that we've changed out through the years, and there's certain pieces I didn't want to get rid of. So we kind of built this room and designed it to have what we call the old school, meaning some of this equipment literally goes back older than some of our employees. And it's mismatched. In other words, part of this is the old Cybex circuit, part of it's the Bodymaster circuit. Oh, go ahead, buddy. So what it is basically, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not set up as a circuit, but you'll have pieces they just don't make anymore. Like they don't make pec decks like that anymore. They don't make hardly any of the standing leg curls. All the new back extensions now have small pads. So you're going to see a lot of people that like to come in here and work out on this stuff. The old pullover machine, so it's not the prettiest stuff in the world. This ab machine, for instance, man, I've had it a long time. Can't even get parts for it anymore. If it breaks, I literally had to weld it together. But if I got rid of it, somebody would probably hang me in the back of the building. So kind of remember, if a person asks about this stuff, you kind of want to have an idea how it works too, so you can kind of help them out. Now let's walk over to the training zone. So right over here is going to be a totally different atmosphere. This is called the training zone. When we walk over here, it's going to have a whole different atmosphere. Now we've changed this thing up through the years and done multiple things with it. But the last thing we decided to do several years back is call it the training zone, which is literally kind of like a combination of a boot camp type training. Some people call it CrossFit training, but literally you can do whatever you want to do creativity wise. And so when you come in here, you're going to see that we took the ceiling out and we made it look like a warehouse. And the reason why we did that is there's so many different variety of things you can work out in here. And so literally on the website, there's about 60 exercises that we demonstrate in here. But you can do things that you normally couldn't do in a regular club on the floor. Like you've got your medicine ball walls, you've got your TRX band, these yellow black bands, monkey bars, you have tires, you have ropes, you have sleds. I want you to understand this though, this is a very fun and unique type of training, but it's also dangerous. If a person doesn't know how to do this, they don't need to be back here just kind of joking around. This is one area of the club that you've got to remember when you start here, that it's open during staffed hours and staffed hours only. The reason why, the very first week we opened this, we had one of our trainers fall off the monkey bars, break their leg. And so it's very easy to get hurt. We don't want that to happen to our members. But again, too, this is a very neat place to work out in. A lot of our trainers bring their clients over here. You'll notice the exercise room I showed you next door had the gymnastics floor and then the rubber floor. This had a whole different, we call it cattle floor. It's real thick so we can do, you know, kettlebells and stuff without worrying about tearing the floor up. But I'm going to show you one more room in here. And this room is going to be a little bit different. So in here, this is our main group exercise room. You'll see the wood floor. It's a suspended wood floor with shocks in it. So we do a lot of like dance classes and stuff in here. The biggest thing about here is you got to realize too, this room is also not open during non-staffed hours because again, it's attached to that room. But during staffed hours, you'll see a lot of different accessories like balls and things back there. A member, if there's not a class going on, they're welcome to come in here and use all this. And then we have a lot of great classes. Your goal as a new employee is to learn about these classes that we offer and be able to share that with the members. Okay, you've done a club tour now. Remember, this tour is not how we tour a potential member. It's so that you can learn what we offer, what makes us different. I tell all the employees, a lot of times they don't even know what makes us different. You need to kind of see the difference in us and our competition. But one of the things that I think you'll find out in a while is most gyms, unfortunately, don't have the owners there. And so they hire a lot of young people that maybe not, maybe they don't understand the business and how to answer questions. Marcia and I have been doing this for a long time. We also have a staff that are, most of them are educated in fitness. So we're able to answer this question. A lot of clubs don't. We want you to also be that person. We want you to be that person behind the front desk and the smoothie bar that can answer the basic question. But if you can't, we want you to know who to direct them to. So remember, again, I didn't cover everything in this tour here with you, but I covered pretty well everything that I think is going to benefit you in your job. And it's going to be your job to watch this video multiple times if you need to and ask as many questions. One thing I like for employees to do is take their staff notebook, read through it, get to know things. Take the information in the information center, watch our YouTube videos, get to know this facility. and that way you become a better employee and a better part of the team. Anyway, it's good to have you as part of our team.